Hello everyone, my name is Gio and I am here with Helene Barnekow today to kick off an inspirational video blog series to talk about the next marketing. Helene, how are you?
Good, thank you, Gio.
Thanks for being with us. I wanted to kind of get your insight into where we're headed in the marketing organization from a top-down level, and then hear from the different topics that we have to discuss today.
Great. So I think, first of all, it's such a great time to be at EMC in general, and it's a great time to be at EMC Marketing. And Jeremy has talked very high level in a number of his all hands about next marketing. So what we want to talk about here is like, what does this mean, and what does it mean to field and channel marketing in particular? And I think, first of all, just to kind of set the context, it's obvious for everybody maybe, but there's so many changes happening around us. There's changes in the world, there's changes in the industry, and EMC is in the middle, in the sweet spot of all these changes. And when we think about how effective our marketing is, which is obviously why we are here, there are a couple of data points that I particularly think are interesting. The first one is that Forrester and IDC actually have data points showing that 60% of a B2B customer's decision is made before he or she even talks to a salesperson. But that salesperson is from us or the partners. That means that the sales funnel looks very different, and we need to insert our influence points very, very strongly at the different points before the 60%. Right. The second point, which I found really intriguing, Harvard Business Review had on one of their latest editions, they had a title saying, the sexiest job in the 21st century is the data scientist. And the first thing that struck me when I read that was that a couple of years ago we didn't know what it was, right? And now it's the sexiest job of the 21st century. And one of the, I think it was from IDC as well, he talked about the hippo versus the nerd, where he's saying that the highest paid person in the room used to be the one calling all the shots. In the future it will be the nerds, and maybe we shouldn't call them nerds because it's really the data scientists, I guess, the people who actually can read the data. And if you just think about these two high-level things and think about marketing, this is driving a huge part of the shift, how the sales cycles is evolving and what you can actually do with marketing. And marketing becomes art and science. So I think that's the essence of what we want to talk about and what that means. And I would take the opportunity already here to say this is going to be crafted over time across countries and regions and all of it, because this is an evolution. And sometimes I say that the great ideas are not coming from 42 South Street, but I don't mean that in like that, because very often they are, but very often they come from other places of the organization. So I'm very keen to invite our organizations around the world to really influence us and take part of this as we go through this process. Right,
so we'll essentially use this platform to gain insight from what's going on in the field, as well as sharing with the field and channel organization worldwide what management is talking about here in corporate. And this will be a platform that we can all learn, collaborate, comment, like, post, etc. on EMC1. So with that, maybe we can get started and talk about how the funnel is dead and long live the open funnel, and the current state of marketing as we view it now and where we see it going. Can you comment on that? Yeah, we like to say that the funnel is dead. It's a little bit provocative, as well as it's kind of putting a stake in the ground, I guess. But what I mean at least is that the funnel as we know it is dead, because we tend to see the funnel very static. You pour in more money, you get more respondents, you get more leads, and hopefully you get more pipeline and then business. And that funnel doesn't really work like that anymore, because we as people behave differently. And when we talk about the open funnel, we really talk about more of a network. The markets become a network of intelligence, and everybody's connected to everybody, and everybody's looking for information in a loop consistently. And therefore, we need to find where we insert ourselves and our influence in that loop. And it's not that straightforward that we create an event, put more money into it, it becomes a lead. And that's much more of an open funnel. Right. And I think that extends then into a loyalty loop, because if we can follow our customers, if we can give them what they're looking for at the time when they're out there, wherever they are in the loop, then we can create business quicker, and hopefully we can create them into brand advocates, so they will actually influence on behalf of us. Right. And then we have a huge win for sure. Now, you talked a little bit about the loyalty leap, but what do you mean by that? Is it a continuous evaluation process? Is it not just putting money into events and then maybe following up with the thank you email? Do we work in digital? Do we work in social media? All the above?
Yes, I think it is continuous. It's also, some people call it always on marketing.
Yep.
And I think there are two things. I think it is always on. I think it means that all of us working for EMC actually become part of marketing in a way, because we need all of us to be advocates of our brand and advocates of our propositions. And the loyalty loop means that you give the customers what they find of value at the time that they're looking for it. And for that, the analytics is so essential, right? So we know what they're looking at the different stage, and we can respond to that. And of course, we don't want them to evaluate. We want them to buy eventually, but it doesn't necessarily happen exactly at the same point as it would in a more straightforward and simple process. And that's what we mean with the loyalty loop.
That's great, Helene. So we're creating this continuous evaluation process, and we're enabling advocates of our brand all over the world. So from an internal standpoint in sales and marketing, what does that mean for us?
I think it means a number of things, but I think there are two primary drivers from this. One is communication, and one is really data. So once you find yourself out there, the customers will expect us to communicate with them as soon as they communicate with us. Right. So we need to be always on. That's the one thing. The second thing with communication that comes in this digital life is transparency. There is such an openness. You cannot protect your brand. You don't own it completely. So you need to be transparent, and you need to get others to trust you in that transparency. So I think that's very important for our communication. Secondly, it's then the data. For us to be able to map all the data points within the sales and marketing, the whole sales and marketing loop is very, very critical. And for us to understand them, and for us to therefore act on them. And I think that's what our customers will expect. And hence we're saying that marketing is art and science. I usually say 50-50. Some say it's going to be even higher on science, but it doesn't really matter. The point is the data becomes that vital. And it's not for some other department to figure out. It's for all of us to own and to really understand what that means to our actions.
With that, I want to thank you for your time, and this is the first of many communication video blog series, and we'll see you again soon.
Thank you, Gio.